Number 1, James Hetfield, the lead singer of Metallica, narrated an anti-pornography documentary called Addicted to Porn, Chasing the Cardboard Butterfly. That's ridiculous. If you would have told me when I was 15 years old that James Hetfield would do that, I wouldn't have believed you, or I would have thought you were high. It just seemed completely impossible. The reason we're beginning to see people publicly denouncing pornography is because the pile of research coming out of academia, different branches of science, is piling higher and higher. Number 2, Terry Crews in a Facebook video said, being on the internet allows you to keep it a secret. Before you had to go and search it out, go look for it, go to a strip club where somebody could see you. But this is a secret. They don't have to see you at all. You can be all alone and it'll be just yours. This is such a good point. We talk about the 3 A's, that's the first letter of the alphabet in case my accent is getting in the way. The 3 A's that the internet brought about. You know, before the internet existed, it was a lot more difficult to find porn. Now with the advent of the internet, pornography can be anonymous, affordable, and there's another A, anonymous, affordable, and something else. I don't know, but you get the point. It's very affordable, or it's free. No one has to know about it. You can do it in the privacy of your own home, so it's a lot more addictive. That is not one of the A's, in case you were wondering. Cruz said, my issue was and is with pornography that it changes the way you think about people. People become objects. People become body parts. Notice I'm looking up continually to see if we're getting kicked off here. Accessible, is that the 3rd one? I love that Anonymous is the one who said accessible in the live stream. Anonymous, affordable, accessible. Boom! Thank you, Anonymous. Good man. Or woman. You're anonymous, how would I know? All right, Russell Brand back in 2015 recorded a video opening up about his own pornography use and how he just really torched pornography. It was a pretty great video. I'm not gonna play it because there are some inappropriate things in it, but here's a quote from that video. He said, the cloud of pornographic information and even soft cultural smog is making it impossible for us to relate to our own sexuality, our own psychology. So you're constantly bombarded with great waves of filth. It's really difficult to remain connected to truth. Truer words have never been said. Try to have an idea of what you want from loving relationships and what you want from sexuality, because once that biological drive to procreate is connected to the culture of objectification, it's a very hard equation to break. All right, so that's 3 celebrities we'll look at. And by the way, you might not care at all what celebrities have to say about overcoming pornography. Like, why they're not your guide, they're not your priest, they're not your pastor. Why would you care? I think it's important because it shows that the discussion and the way the culture, if you want to call it that, views pornography is changing when these people are speaking up. Kanye West, who legit had a pornographic image on one of his albums that he had blurred out, but it was clear that it was meant to be pornography, recently came out and said that pornography has messed him up, changed the way he viewed women. Listen to this. He says it affected every choice that he's ever made in his life. That's probably hyperbole, but interesting that he said it. Here's a quote from him. He said, like for me, Playboy was a gateway into full-on pornography addiction. My dad had a Playboy left out at age 5, bless him, and it affected almost every choice I made for the rest of my life. From age 5 till now, having to kick the habit, and it just presents itself in the open like it's okay. And I stand up and say, no, it's not okay. Good for him. Billie Eilish is the next celebrity we'll look at. I didn't know who she was because I'm a cool dad. I actually believe that I'm cooler for not knowing anything about pop culture, just in case you think I was being sarcastic. I'm not, I'm just cool. Billie Eilish was on Howard Stern's show, and she said this, as a woman, I think porn is a disgrace. And I used to watch a lot of porn, to be honest, she said. She said, I started watching porn when I was like 11. I didn't understand why it was a bad thing. I thought that's how you learned how to have sex. And she went on to reveal that her porn habit grew so bad that she was only interested in looking at material that was violent. And it warped her perception of sex, her own body, and led her to engage in behavior that made her feel worthless. Here's what she said. I didn't think I was attractive. and I was a virgin. I'd never done anything, and it led to problems. The first few times I, had sex, I was not saying no to things that were not good. It's because I thought that that's what I was supposed to be attracted to. I'm so angry that porn is so loved. And I'm so angry at myself for thinking that it was all okay. Do you understand how cool that is that she spoke out? I mean, I'm obviously not advocating for this person. I'm sure she has done and continues to do a lot of things that are unhelpful or sinful or just wretched, but beautiful that she said that. Orlando Bloom in March 2020, he did an interview with the UK Sunday Times, said that he was taking a break from pornography. Here's what he said. Porn is super disruptive to your sex life, to your libido. He also discovered that it was impeding his ability to build relationships with real women. Yes, it will do that. They've done studies. They can't find any kids who don't watch it. Well, that's probably hyperbolic. My kids don't watch it, but then we refuse to let our kids have iPhones or use social media. That's a stupid idea. Stop doing that, Orlando Bloom, and your kids will be much better for it. When you watch multiple people at multiple times in one evening, how is your actual real life partner going to match up? He said, it's just so destructive. Amen, Orlando Bloom. It's so true. I mean, if you're clicking from one fantasy to the next fantasy to the next fantasy, how is a real life flesh and blood partner going to match up? And don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying because the real life flesh and blood partner isn't superior. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is it trains you to view sex the way somebody who only ever eats at Golden Corral views food. Like, they're not there for the quality of the eating experience, right? They're there for, forgive me if you're a Golden Corral fan, but like subpar food, but they just want a ton of it and they want variety. If you treat yourself like that, like if you've only ever eaten McDonald's, and then you sit down and try to enjoy a beautiful meal, like a nice steak, a glass of wine, you won't be able to enjoy it. And it won't be the steak's fault. It will be your fault because you've conditioned yourself to that. All right, the final celebrity we want to look at is Pamela Anderson. So Pamela Anderson was obviously in Baywatch back in the 90s. She was a Playboy bunny. Isn't it awful how we say the word bunny, by the way? Penthouse used to call them pets. We have to dehumanize that which we seek to lust over. Someone once said you can't lust over people, you have to first reduce them into an object to use. So that's interesting, I think. Simply put, so this is an essay that she collaborated on with an academic. So I'm not sure how much of this she wrote, but this certainly sums up her thought. She's done interviews on it subsequently and has expressed as much. Listen to this. Simply put, we must educate ourselves and our children to understand that porn is for losers, a boring, wasteful, and dead-end outlet for people too lazy to reap the ample rewards of healthy sexuality. I think she's right. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying people who look at pornography are losers. I think you have to always distinguish between the person and the act. I mean, pornography is a awful, spineless, cowardly, pathetic waste of time. More than a waste of time, it's destructive. But if you're here today, it's because you're presumably wanting to break free from pornography. And so this doesn't include you. Like if you're somebody who falls to pornography frequently, even every day, and you're genuinely trying to break free of it, and you're not just giving lip service to trying to break free of it, but you're actually doing things, then good for you. That's huge. That's huge.